What's good, YouTube? It's me, your boy Squiddy, back again with another one of them videos. And today I want to show you guys a deck profile for one of the decks that I think is one of the top contenders for the upcoming North American Nationals that's happening next weekend. Predaplants. I just think that the deck is really, really strong as a fusion deck. Obviously, the power plays. The only weakness it sort of has is like dying to cards like Ash and D-Barrier or Anti-Spell. But when you get to play, it's by far probably the best, most impressive engine. So yeah. Start off 3, Keeper of Dragon Magic. This card obviously was originally a secret, but I think people slowly found out that this card is very, very good, especially in this deck. Its effect is when this card is normal special summoned, you can discard a card, add 1 fusion normal spell card or polymerization from your deck to hand. So essentially, this card, when you summon it, you can discard a card. It's like a Luber. You can add Random Fusion, or you can actually add Instant Fusion as well, which is like full combo in this deck, and it's like a +5 on its own. So super good card. There are a lot of cards to discard in this deck as well, so it kind of mitigates that. And then the other fact is you can reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck, special summon one of the monsters that are listed on that card from your graveyard. So if you do have Albaz in your graveyard in like the grind game, you can actually summon this special back Albaz in face down defense mode. And then you can contact fusion the both of them into one of the new monsters in the extra deck. The one that's dragon. I can't remember the name. So you contact both into this guy, Alvalenitas, and then you have a 2500 beater that attacks twice and also allows you to search a fusion spell when it's sent to the graveyard. So yeah, super good. And then comes the Predaplants, obviously 3 Orphis Scorpio. This card is just like Keeper of the Dragon Magic. It's slightly worse because of the fact that it is it special summons Cobra first, and then you have to search. So that is actually slightly worse than actually starting off with Instant Fusion and using Cobra later. But obviously, it's still really good. Also, the other fact is you have to send a monster, which is not as good as Keeper. You can just discard any card. But yeah, still really good starter. We also play 3 of the Biblisp. So this one is really good because it's obviously a free discard off of either one of these cards. And then it replaces itself when it's sent to the graveyard. It's like a Nerval. You can add any Predaplant monster from your deck to your hand. And then the other fact is if there's a Predaplant counter on the field, which there's a trap in this deck that does place counters Predaplanting, so you can special summon this back from the graveyard but banish it when it gets leaves the field. So obviously really good recursion. You can just make cards like Chimera and stuff when this comes back to the graveyard as free material. And then the other Predaplants, you play 2 of this one, Chlamydia Sundew. This card allows you to fusion summon using its on-body effect when it's on the field. Obviously, if you make Chimera, you cannot pop anything because Chimera has to be special summoned by a spell effect in order to do that. But it's still really good card, especially in the grind game. You do have to play 2 because it does come up. A lot of times, you actually summon this. Off of this Scorpio, you summon this, and then you make your fusion monster instead of summoning Cobra right away, because when you do that with Cobra, you actually lose your having a fusion monster on board, which makes your branded fusion allow you to use Albion to make Mirror Jade for free from the graveyard. So yeah, that's that card. And then also play 2 of this card because it's a brick, obviously. If you do draw 1, your entire engine is dead. So I just think having 2 is really good utility, as well as being a Predaplant monster. You can actually fusion it off, hard fusion with like a polymerization or like another card in order to make the fusion spell if you do happen to draw 1. So it's not absolutely a brick, but I think it's just needed at 2 in this deck, because if you draw that in your opening hand, you literally, a lot of times you just lose. You have no way to search branded fusion in this deck, because I don't play any of the Desperate cards, as you'll see. One of this frog guy, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but he's searchable at the end of your combo off of the Biblisp, and his just a pendulum scale that allows you to fusion summon. So super good that it's in engine. That's it for the Predaplants. And then we also play 3 Edgem Chain. So I think this engine is really good because of the fact that you can make Chimera, you can hard make the fusion spell Predaplant, and this card is an amazing discard off of both Scorpio and off of Keeper of the Dragon Magic. So it's just so free. Being a dark, you can also make things like Starving Venom and obviously the Dragostapelia as well. And then 2 Albaz. I guess there's an argument you could play 3. I might even bump it to 3 just because like hard opening this card is not that bad. When your branded fusion gets ashed, you can hard make Mirror Jade still with this in your hand. As well as being in the grind game, a lot of times if you say you draw 1 on this opening turn and you activate branded fusion, then they come back and they break your board. Your branded fusion is kind of dead if you discarded that 1 from your hand for an effect, for example, because you don't have any more left in your deck. So yeah, could bump it to 3 for sure. And then Stay Sailor Romarin. So this card, when sent to the graveyard via a card effect, you can dump any level 5 or lower plant from your extra deck monster or from your main deck. So you can obviously dump Biblis for a free search. Being light allows you to make Albion, and also you can dump the fusion monster as well from your extra deck if you want a free Mirror Jade for some hands, it does allow you to keep Albion on board so you can fuse after the fact. No Snow. I don't think that Snow is that good because I think if you're resolving Branded Fusion, you're probably already winning. So it's just like more of a brick than anything. And this is like the light that you usually want to go to send anyway, so you can get to be able to search. So you can search this guy and then you can fuse and continue your plays. And then also play 2 Mally because in this deck you do play Fusion Destiny. I just think it's a hilarious card. So the reason why you play these 2 instead of the Fusion, the Dasher and the other guy that draws 2, Celestial, is because this card, when you draw it, it's not really a brick. You can discard it, for example, off of Keeper or off of Scorpio. And then this allows you at the end of your combo to put an extra dark on your board. So that actually is super relevant because it allows you to make a Fusion monster either for free as a free resource, or you can actually just have this on the field during the opponent's turn, so you have something to tribute off for one of the cards. The Starving Predapower card that actually needs to tribute a monster with a counter on the field in order to negate something, so that does come up as well. And I figured like those cards were just bricks, like Dasher and the other one, it's just a huge brick if you draw this, but if you hard draw one of these, it's still like very good because you can just send one. Also, you can actually use what is that dark guy's name? Not Albion, but you can use Lubellion to actually fusion. If you have like a hand where like I don't know, certain matchups you like fusion Destiny Hero Fusion Force are just better than having a Mirror Jade on the board, for example, against like Eldritch or a Trap deck. So you can actually if you draw this, you can send this, later on you banish it, you summon this one, and then you can fuse it off, for example, for Drago Stapile, and then when you make this allows you to shuffle back these 2 into a free Phoenix Enforcer, whereas if you drew Dasher or the other card, you wouldn't be able to do that. So unique little play, and then this card allows you to just play the 2 silver bullets, being Fusion Destiny, in your deck as well, that are just auto-win cards when you do resolve it. So I think it's kind of neat that you can just play, you can actually make Enforcer with these 2, so it's kind of neat. Then we also just play some hand traps because in this format I feel like you do need hand traps. If you go second, a lot of the decks just combo you like, and you can't do anything. So 3 Ash, 3 Nib. Nibiru is really good right now because a lot of players don't respect it. There's Sword Soul, they're still making like the Long Yon before they're making like summoning Molier, and then you just play in the Nib and it's just a blowout. A lot of times when they do that Long Yon, sometimes they have Tennies to start and they make the Berserker as well. So you literally just like nib their entire board and just like go so plus, it's auto win. And then I also play 3 Gamma and 1 Driver because Gamma I think is just a really good card going second and going first in this deck, especially because you have a lot of fusion spells that you're playing into Ash before you summon a monster. So very good. And then 1 Veiler, 1 Droll, obviously just playing these because I do play cross out. So this card can really, really hurt the deck sometimes because you do rely on your searches. And obviously this card, same thing. And then also play 3 Branded Fusion, so the spells, 2 Fusion Destiny, and then 1 Instant Fusion, just like insane card that starts off your entire engine, allows you to go to like +5. That's it for the fusion spells. Oh, also this package as well for the fusion spells. 3 Patchwork, 2 Polymerization. I just think that these cards are so free. Obviously, doing the discard off of one of your starters allows you to add. If you do discard Edge of Chain, you can add one of these cards into Polymerization. This allows you to hard make the Predaplant fusion monster. A lot of people are Veilering that or imperming that. So if they imperm that search effect, you can make another one and still use the effect, especially on Cobra and then full combo. So really, really good. Obviously making Chimera as well, non-targetable, is also very, very good. Then for the board breakers, 3 Dark Ruler and 3 Chalice. Obviously, I think Droplet might be better. I don't have them right now, but you could consider playing Droplet. The nice thing about this card is you can just play into like a board of Hawk and Baron and not have to discard anything, but as much as there are cards to discard in this deck, it's actually still like you don't want to really discard things if you don't want to, if you don't have to. So Droplet in that sense is not as good. But obviously these cards are just like generic board breakers. I do play 60 cards in this deck, I forgot to mention, just because I think that the deck has so many searchers and you really just have to open a starter and try to combo. And the rest of the cards you just want to like make sure you're able to play. So obviously hand traps and 3 cross out and 1 called by. Obviously just again for hand traps. Ash mainly, and also D-Barrier going second in game 2 and 3. You can side in. And then traps, 3 Imperm, 1 Predaplanting. This is a card that pops mine as well as putting counters on everything. So Drago Stapile negates it while it's on board. And then Branded Banishment. This is a card that you set at the end of your combo when you do fuse Albion. So you're allowed to set this. And then that allows you to either super poly with your opponent's monsters or fusion summon with one of your own or bring back Mirror Jade. That's it for the main deck, 60 cards. And then for the extra deck, obviously, we start off with 2 of these guys. This card's super, super good. The reason you play 2, again, is if you get Veilered, for example, on the search effect, which is a valid play, what you can do is you can actually Polymerization, fuse another one of these using this and another Predaplant monster in your hand, and then you can use the effect to pop himself to special summon the Anaconda. So obviously on summon effect, you get to add Predaplanting setup, and then the other effect is you can target a monster on the field that you control or one with a Predaplant counter, tribute it, and then special summon a monster from your deck, a Predaplant monster. And then the branded cards, 2 Mirror Jade, just very, very good cards. You do need 2 because it does come up in the grind game. 2 Albion, this one's a lot better than Lubellion in this deck because you do want to special summon this by using this card in your grave, so you can banish it, keep this on board as free, and then you can fuse this with another dark monster to make Dracostopelia, which allows you to trigger this effect in the end phase to set the brand banishment. So yeah, really good cards. This card obviously insane as well. It's a quick effect skill drain. It is kind of unique in that it's not like really a Veiler or a quick play monster that would negate a monster effect. What it does is it places a counter on your opponent's monster, and then its other continuous effect is it negates the effects of monsters that have counters on them. So if it is kind of like a skill drain. If they have like something like a Lone Fire Blossom that tributes itself, the minute it tributes itself, the counter's gone, so it's not negated by this. So yeah, generally don't want to use it on something like a Rescue Cat or a Lone Fire Blossom. And then 1 Alba Lenitus, this super good contact fusion against dragons, like the whole board, as well as being able to search Fusion Destiny, which is really, really neat because Albion can only search branded spell traps. So this allows you to add Fusion Destiny or Instant Fusion, and it's super, super good grind, especially when you have Mirror Jade on board. During their turn, instead of sending the Albion, you can actually send one of this, banish whatever they have, end phase search Fusion Destiny, and the next turn you just have a follow-up play. So very, very nice interaction there. And then the rest of the monsters, obviously Lubellion. This card's not as good. You only use 1. It doesn't really come up, but sometimes it does come up to shuffle back your monsters. And again, as I mentioned, that clutch Fusion Destiny play that allows you to shuffle back both the Mali. If you do hard draw Mali and you pitch one, special summon the other one, and then you can fuse Fusion Enforcer, Destiny Hero, Phoenix Enforcer. And then other cards. Starving Venom, this card is super, super good. It allows you to get over a lot of cards that are unoutable, like Psychic End Punisher. In this deck, it's really, really hard to deal with. This card does target the monster, but it doesn't affect that monster. It affects itself by gaining the attack when it's special summoned of a special summoned monster your opponent controls. It doesn't target as well. And then the other effect is when it's popped, it destroys all special summoned monsters on the field. So super, super nice card that does come up, and it is generic. 2 darks again. 1 Starving Venom Predapower. The reason you play this card is because it does come up a lot. A lot of times, if you do hard open one of the fusion spells, for example, Branded Fusion, you're allowed to search Instant Fusion instead with the Cobra, so you can make the next card I'm going to show you, Millenniumize, which negates Ash, obviously, because good players are going to just hold their Ash until the Branded Fusion, because that starts off the entire play with this deck. So at some point, you could just summon this. This allows you to get through Ash, and then you do have this on board, as well as another fusion monster, Albion. So you can actually fusion those 2 into Predapower. And what Predapower does is, first effect is you can tribute a monster on the field that has a Predaplant counter, and then negate any effect. Omni negate by tributing. And then the other effect is when this card is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, you can special back any dark fusion monster, as long as it's fusion summoned originally. So you can summon back itself, or you can summon back a Mirror Jade. So if you do have these on turn 1, obviously your opponent's going to hold Nib against this deck until the very, very end, because they know you don't play any Omni negates. So by the time you fuse these 2 into this and they Nib, you can send this graveyard and bring it back, or you can bring back a Mirror Jade that they Nib. So super, super useful. Also, when you have this on the field and you have the trap card, during their turn, you can actually activate the trap card, put counters on everything, and you can attempt to tribute one of your opponent's monsters. By the way, this is not a cost to tribute, unfortunately, but still equally as good in that you can tribute your opponent's monsters to negate a card effect or a negate an evenly matched. So if your opponent, you have the full board, they go to battle phase, you can activate this, send something, Biblis, search, and then put counters on everything, and then you have a way to negate evenly matched, which does cripple this deck pretty hard if you do play into it. So yeah, super neat. And then the other cards are Chimera and Phoenix Enforcer. This card is super, super good with Polymerization because it cannot be targeted. So yeah, super, super neat. That's it for the extra deck. And then side deck. So here's where we get an interesting couple of cards. First couple of cards are generic. 3 Twin Twister and Red Reboot. You're just siding these in, like going second in every single matchup just because of Barrier. And again, anti-spell, and yeah, this card just like knocks everything out of the ballpark. So these cards are super, super good. 3 barrier, you do side 1 in as well, going second, just so you can hit it with cross out, because this card is just like turn ending. This deck plays all fusion monsters. You can't do anything without. So yeah, just playing this card. And then playing 1 of each for the Flanders. Just these cards are like generically good. Playing also the 3 token collectors is just super, super good against Sword Soul, which is arguably the most popular and best deck right now. So you do have to play these. And then last but not least, this is the spicy card, 3 Rose Archer. So this is a hand trap. The effect is, it's a warrior earth monster, and the effect is, during either player's turn when your opponent activates a trap card while you control a plant monster, any of the plant Predaplants in your deck, you can discard this card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So literally, we have a card that beats Dimensional Barrier. Your opponent's going to hold the barrier for, Branded Fusion, whatever. All we can do is summon any Predaplant here with this in hand, and then boom, they barrier, you can negate it. Same thing for any other trap, things like Imperm, things like Sword Soul Blackout even. Obviously, it doesn't work on anti-spell because you're going to flip it during the draw phase before you have a monster on board, but it is like insane in that this hand trap is an offensive hand trap that allows you to negate traps, and just like people don't see it coming. You just blow out Dimensional Barrier. So super, super clutch card. A lot of people, I don't think anyone really knows about it, but it's just like insane as a hand trap. And then if there was a 16 card, I would probably play Super Volley. I'm not playing Super Volley right now just because of the fact that, I don't know, I don't feel like there'd be a lot of mirror matches. I guess you can make a reason just to play 1 just because it is searchable. So potentially maybe there's some argument to sort of play around with this side deck just to fit 1 Super Volley. It's not a good card to main deck by any means. It's only live in the mirror match. We do have Brand Banishment already, so it's like, I don't know if it is that good. And good players will often play around Super Volley as well in their opening board. But again, it is an argument to. So yeah, that's about it for the deck profile. If you guys like this, rate, comment, subscribe. If you see me in that, definitely come say hello. I'm going to make another video with the combos, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys later.